This is the 2023 version of the Alibow Dunhuang law, which corresponds to something like the Dunhuang V6 or something. At one point, Alibow's Topo site listed their version numbers, but it looks like that's not a thing anymore. Dunhuang is, in my opinion, Alibow's most polished laminate to date, just going off how many versions they've gone through. This particular model is bamboo on both sides with a draw weight of 35 pounds at 28 inches and a max straw length of 35 inches. With an unstrung contour length of 64 inches from tip to tip and an effective tip length of 12 inches, this is a long-tipped, long-limbed bow. It is similar in length to that of the Alibow Changshao, another long Xia bow. Note that it looks fairly close in length to the Changshao, albeit with much more reflex in the limb. This version of the Dunhuang has the solid black bulbous tips, which contrast with the white foam used in the Xias. In some versions of Dunhuang, the tips are alternating black and white bands. Whether there is a meaning or material difference here, I am not aware. Note that these Xias also have the draw weight and the Alibow logo embossed onto them. Here is the Dunhuang's Xia next to the Changshao's Xia. Note that the Dunhuang's Xia is significantly thinner than the Changshao's, and there's much more of a shape to it. Note also that there is syntactic foam inside of the Dunhuang's Xia. This is a lightweight material that is used to reduce the dead mass of the Xias and is not present in the Changshao. You can see that the Dunhuang Xia is much thinner and the Changshao's is much thicker. There is a triangular transition between the Xia and the limb on the belly of the bow, and there's a sharp drop-off in the widths on the Xia on the belly side. You can see that on Changshao it does not have that. Instead, on Changshao it's just a straight line to the limb. This means that there's less mass on Dunhuang's Xia. This is the handle. It's a fairly standard Asiatic bow handle. The grip is a single piece of chrome-tanned leather wrapped around the handle, corseted with some leather lace, and then glued into place. There is a white arrow pass above the leather grip. The arrow pass is decently thin, clocking in at 22.3 millimeters. Just below the handle, there is the embossed version of the Alibow logo. On the back of the bow, there is a simple white line that delineates the end of the handle and the beginning of the lip. When strung, it measures 148.5 centimeters from tip to tip. This is fairly long as far as Asiatic bows go. It is next to the Changshao for comparison. Note how it is only a few centimeters longer than the Changshao when they are both strung. It has a brace height of about 18 centimeters. Untuned, you will have to tune yours. Note that this bow reaches 5.4% increase in draw weight at the 34 inches from the belly mark, which is roughly equal to about 35 inches from the back. This is where most people would begin to perceive stacking, as people generally feel stacking around 5.5%. However, based off of experience with other bows, this would mean that the Dunhuang probably has at least 1 to 2 more inches of draw left in it, with a true max of about 37 inches. Okay, so now let's go through some images of this bow at various stages of its draw. So here it is at 28 inches, 31 inches, and 35 inches. Note that the limbs are not quite parallel yet, which is probably part of why it could still go further. So now we're gonna go over FPS data. FPS data was not measured on this specific Dunhuang model, but I did collect FPS data on a different Dunhuang model, 40 pounds at 28 inches instead. I'm not going to read it all out because that's a lot of reading, but I'm going to list out a few points that are of interest. First one is that at 28 inches of draw with a GPP of 10.79, the FPS was measured to be about 184 FPS. That's pretty respectable, nothing special. However, if we look at it at 10.23 GBP at 35 inches of draw, we see that we significantly increased the arrow speed to 204 FPS. That is a significant increase in arrow speed. We see that it holds that advantage even at 15.89 GBP, where it gets 176 FPS, which is pretty good, especially if we consider that this is nearly 16 GBP. This data was collected on a hooter-shooter style machine using a compound release and shooting a bare shaft uncut Carbon Legacy 340 spine with weight adjusted using front weights. Note that these arrows were not tuned. The chronograph used was a FX chronograph, yeah. So, thank you for bearing with me to the end of this video. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this. Goodbye.